Worldwide movement. Peace, love, respect. Big King Sadiq hollering at you one more again. All right, man. Another beautiful spring day. Thank you all for checking me out again. I love each and every one of you. Truly, we are together. The worldwide movement. Peace, love, respect. Yes, indeed. Man, it's beautiful, man. Please, everybody continue to like, share, subscribe, right? Hit your notification button so you get notified every time I make a new video. Please tell everybody you know, tell some folks you don't know about the worldwide movement. Peace, love, respect. Man, so yeah, another beautiful day. I'm going to make this one succinct and quick. We're going to be successful this time. And we call this, Who Are You? So think about the fact that identity is relevant, right? Labeling is relevant. Using names to identify is relevant. All right. So most certainly we can refer to each other by the names that we go by, right? But again, those are just names and are indeed relevant. We can go by other labels that we tend to use and are relevant, right? Relative, should I say. So the label you see, the label you assert to someone when you see them often, at least in this society, most often is race, right? It's the first thing most people quickly establish. And then, as is the tendency in this society, we usually narrow it down to two groups. You black or white, right? Which is so ridiculous. But again, this is how our minds have been shaped in this society to label people, and it's all relative. Perfect example. I saw not long ago a video a young man did, alluding to the fact that, you know, the labels of black and white are something that are relatively new to him, and that people simply were not identified that way in the region that he came from, right? And just him saying that, right? I went through a spider web. I'm sorry, spider. We think about the hassle. Another thing that's relative. We think about the hassle or man, I just stepped through a spider web, right? And we get irritated at the spider almost, not thinking about the fact that if we think of this relatively and how the spider web is related to me, it's just a hassle. But to the spider, I just destroyed his home, right? And his means of eating, all in one clumsy swoop, right? So sorry about that, spider. We're gonna look at that a different way, right? Using perspective. Okay. But yeah, man, that's essentially the point, you know. One thing can be something to one person and a completely different thing to another. You know, there's that old saying, one person's trash is another man's treasure, right? Perspective, again, very powerful. And when you apply it in the process of labeling, you see how the labels that we place on things, and particularly people, are relative to the person who's doing the labeling, right? um, a snobbish or sort of nose in the air, stuck up person with a lot of material gain who may happen to have that kind of mentality, may look at an average person walking down the street and call them a commoner, right? Whereas another person who works 9 to 5, or let's say perhaps someone in that person's life, maybe that guy's wife, she knows he works 2 jobs to provide a living for him and his family. She doesn't look at him as a commoner or label him as a commoner. She looks at him as a hardworking, honorable man, right? And would label him as such. It's all relative to our perspective, or the perspective of the person who's doing the labeling. So the question I have most pertinent in this particular discussion is, who are you? We are labeled often in many different ways by many different people. And most often, we are labeled by ourselves, or we allow the labels of others to actually form our identity. But who are you really, right? We call dogs, but that's just what humans call dogs. What do dogs consider themselves to be? You get my point. What are we really? Who are you really, right? Are you a human being? Are you a person, right? Are you a physical being only? Are you a spiritual being having a physical experience? Who are you? And even those are general terms. There may be many spiritual beings. There are many spiritual beings having human experiences. Which one are you, and what is it about you who makes you you, right? Who are you? Absent the labels that society might place on you, absent the labels that anyone else would put on you, period, from their perspective. Who are you from your perspective? What do you see yourself as? Who do you see yourself as? What do you see yourself doing in this lifetime? Truly. Because we get also very used to labeling ourselves according to our occupation, right? That in this country is one of the most prevalent ways of labeling ourselves and viewing ourselves is by our occupation. In fact, on the game shows, if you'll notice, one of the first things they do is have you say your name and what you do, quote unquote, right? As a means of labeling you. This is how we think in this society. You are labeled as whatever position you hold relative to the corporate machine. What kind of cog in the machine are you? Or have you broken away from that, right? Have you searched within and determined your own identity? Determine what you see yourself as offering to this world, right? Determined on how you can add to the collective. Determining on what the fruit of your human experiences will be, right? Who are you as determined by you, right? All right. Think about that, folks. And as you gain that answer, whether it be something you have a deep epiphany on today, or whether it be something that you begin a process of discovering, I would say it's very important for us all to label ourselves, right? To identify ourselves so that we can answer for ourselves when we look in the mirror, who are you? Because from that point, we'll understand what it is we're doing here on this planet, living this experience. You can identify purpose from yourself, right? Place your own label or identify yourself, right? And from there, you can truly have that manifesting or bringing to fruition who you are and exactly what you're doing on this planet. All right? Determine that for yourself. Let's all determine that for ourselves as we continue to move forward in this paradigm and this new energy. All right? Worldwide movement. Peace, love, respect. Please remember to like, share, subscribe. Big King Sadiq, I am out.